Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. This week, we got the Panthers going up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Final, and Joel and I make our picks for the U.S. Open. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, my brother?
Yo, good to see you. So we back, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, dropping a comment, and more importantly, hitting that notification button so you get notified when we drop the amazing work that we've been putting in, man. We got a lot of BKFC videos out right now, pumping some little short reels and stuff like that, little highlights. And yeah, the Sports with SoSo YouTube channel is popping. So make sure you guys are checking all of that out and dropping those likes and comments.
You've been doing your thing with those interviews, bro. Those interviews are good. I like it. It's good. At least for me, it gives me a good preview going into next week, which I know we'll get into next week. But I like the little previews that I'm getting as far as, you know, these guys' mindset going into these fights.
Bro, and it's been spicy, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the championship fights are have a lot on the line, but like there's a lot of pride going on in those fights before that, leading up to those belts being exchanged or whatnot. But yeah, man, those interviews are dope, man, and it's always nice to have those guys make time for our show, right? And you know, linking up and talking to potential future worldwide superstar athletes, man. It's crazy.
Who knows where this BKFC is going to be? I was just listening to Tank Abbott on Rogan's podcast, and he's kind of talking about like the early days of it. And I'm like, I was looking, I was like, you know what, man? Like maybe I need to, you know, like really focus in on the memories of this, because what if this is just the beginning of the next big thing, you know? And we're just sometimes I'm just kind of taking it for granted a little bit, you know, because I'm in there already. We've already been accustomed to it and stuff, but this is just the beginning of the sport.
For sure. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, right? But like even ever since like seeing Connor join the program and John and be a part of BKFC just feels like it's leveling up, man. So yeah, go watch those videos, man. You're watching potential champions on the Sports with SoSo YouTube channel, man. Dog, 305 and the 954 are connecting. The whole South Florida is connecting. And they're really feeding off the vibes that we're getting from the Panthers, dog. And these guys being up 2-0, with just allowing one goal in 2 games to a very high-powered offense that the Edmonton Oilers have, and just playing really good defense, bro. It's been incredible to watch, man.
Yeah, dude, we absolutely needed it. You know, we've been a little shaky at home in these playoffs, you know, giving up games at home, which is not, you know, like the Panthers to do. So to start against this team, you know, this Connor McDavid led team, by shutting them out in that first game at home, that was phenomenal, man. I mean, just they peppered us, you know, they gave us everything they had. I don't know how many shots on goal. Big Bob had a huge game. But we're able to just shut those guys out, and everything that they've done in the playoffs has led us to believe that they weren't the type of team that was going to get shut out easily, and we kind of handed it to them on that game 1.
Completely, bro. And like you said, we did withstand the storm, right? And that was one of my key things leading into game 1, right? Like control the defensive area, control the defensive zone. Don't give these guys so many easy looks, right? Make everything hard for them. And that's exactly what they did, bro. The Panthers defense was playing on another level, because let's be honest, well, to get a shutout in hockey nowadays, especially in the playoffs, it's even more so in the final, like, bro, you have to play really, really, really good hockey. You have to make some lucky saves, some amazing saves, and some really normal saves. And that's exactly what we got from Big Bob, bro. He was literally, you know, all over that net. Literally all over that net. And even in his communication with the defenseman, hey, go for the puck, or I'm gonna pump it out, or I'm gonna go around the net and scoop it out. Like the communication on that defense was just at another level. And I think that it really frustrated the Oilers in that game, right? The fact that they couldn't score, the fact that they gave up 2 goals while out shooting the Panthers in the first and second period, right? I think it was combined 15 shots that they had more than we did. It's just crazy, right? Because then you get into the third period where we're standing the storm, taking all their best punches, and then as soon as they go empty netter, no less than 2 minutes, boom, we scored, put the game away. And the guy who really stood out for me in that game 1 was the same guy who really balled out in game 2, which was Evan Rodriguez, right? Because we saw him score a little bit in the Boston series. We saw him play well in the series against the Rangers, right? And come up with some timely assists and a goal here and there, but we haven't seen him reach like that next level or that superstardom level. This dude is really making himself a name for himself, and being a guy that we picked up this year and being able to contribute in this form, 3 goals in 2 games, especially having 2 goals in that second game, bro, it just shows you that the Panthers have plenty of depth in this lineup, right? That they can throw at any team that really starts with defense and then overloads on offense and allows the Panthers to be probably the best team in the NHL.
Did you see his post game interview in game two?
I did, man.
So he said something there that was really interesting to me, and it just goes to show how deep this Florida Panthers team is right now. You know, he was asked, you know, his decision to come to Florida and sign with Florida. You know, did he think that he would be able to still, you know, to make an impact so quickly and you know, be able to help the team and contribute? And he was like, you know what, I'd be lying if I said no. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I absolutely saw that. Like I picked Florida because I saw how great they were, and I felt like I can just come in, plug in with my game, and immediately contribute. And we have guys like Carter Verhaeghe and like Sam Reinhart and like Sam Bennett, you know, and these guys that have consistently done so well over the season that a guy like Evan Rodriguez is now coming out of the woodwork, so, you know, so to speak, to the masses that haven't been privy to Florida Panthers hockey this year, you know,
Yeah.
with the performance he had in game one and then the 2 goals that he had in game two. I mean, so far, you know, there's 2 guys that have, I think, are in the running for the MVP should this series go our way. And it's Big Bob and Evan Rodriguez.
Yeah, for sure. And the way that Evan Rodriguez is doing it, right? Like he's being active, he's getting into the open ice, he's making the pass and cutting. Like he's also contributing very well on defense and knocking guys down and clearing the puck. So when you have guys playing with that energy, it just makes it a lot easier to go ahead and get the business done on the defensive side. And for him to just be able to enjoy the ride and know what he saw in this team and the potential it has, it's crazy, bro. You mentioned Big Bob there, man. We gotta recognize that what we're witnessing with this dude is beyond the comeback story. It's probably one of the best stories that hockey is gonna write, because he went from being a starter to being benched to being sent down to being called up to being benched again during the playoff run to coming back, earning a starting spot, and now being on a run where he's the best player or the best goalie in the NHL right now. Became the third goalie ever to allow 1 goal or fewer through 2 games of the Stanley Cup Finals in the last 50 years. Again, what we're witnessing that Big Bob is providing us is historic, and we just take it for granted sometimes because, like, oh, he made another save, look at this amazing save. But the amount of work that this dude has put in, both physically and mentally, to get back to this level of high power defense and just being able to feel the position, right? Bro, it's amazing to watch this guy in goal, bro, because like I said, I think a lot of people take it for granted, just seeing it as a guy who's in charge of stopping the puck, but it's a lot more than that, for sure.
I had the thought, you know, these guys, you know, if they're out there for a minute and a half to 2 minutes straight, it's a long time, you know,
Mm,
running up and down the ice and skating and doing, you know, all the dog fighting and all that stuff. Bro, the goalies are out there the entirety of the whole period, you know, 20
yep.
minutes straight for 3 periods and then plus OT.
Pretty much
And
squatting.
yeah, exactly my point, dog. Like you're pretty much squatting when he goes down on one knee, when he shifts from post to post. Like
Mhm.
it's bro, that's a workout and a half, dog. And the fact that that guy's out there performing at a high level for us, you know, since over the last, I would say, you know, 6 playoff series, you know, we got exactly, you know, what we wanted out of Bobrovsky. We have been getting what we want out of him, bro. That guy deserves all the praise in the world every single game for what he does. And then it's true, like you said, you know, when he does let one slip by, it's like, all right, no worries. Let's just not repeat that same mistake. And you don't see that, you know. He gave up
No.
one, and it went right through his legs. It was like a split hair millisecond in game two where it just went right through his legs. And after that, he rebounded and he was able to stop, make a lot of saves.
Yeah, no, and again, it was a weird, awkward shot that he faced, right? Because it was kind of like a knuckle puck. It was
Yep.
spinning over and over, which is rare, right? But and it caught him off guard. But
And
once
kind of on a
that
breakaway
happened,
too.
correct. It came off a turnover. But once he caught that, dude, like it was a wrap.
Mhm.
right? It was a complete wrap. And Big Bob got into his groove and again showed why he has the fortitude, the mental fortitude to say, all right, I gave up a goal. That ain't shit in this first period. We still played well. We outshot them by a lot that first period. Let's take that energy into the second period. And we did. We tied the game up. That's when we had Nico Mikola score his second goal of the playoffs because he's not a scorer, right? He's a
He's a
defenseman, a guy
defenseman. Yep.
right in the second and third line, and he just made the most of his opportunities, and that was a part of my tweets, right? If you're following me on X, you'll notice that I tweeted that in that second period where we need to take chances, right, and take the most out of those opportunities. He was a perfect example, and Nico was, because he got that goal to tie up the game, and then once that happened, the Panthers never looked back. They scored another 3 goals in that third period to put the game away, but more importantly, it's kind of how that third period went, right? We saw it get feisty. We saw it get physical. The Oilers were called
Very
for
chippy.
multiple penalties, right? Where the guys were just doing dirty hits after dirty hit after dirty hit. And then we saw Edmonton's Leon Draisaitl or whatever. I'm not even gonna pronounce his name because he's a dirty fuck. He hit Alexander Barkov, kind of caught him in the jaw and knocked him out of the game. I feel like that shit only happens when you're beating the crap out of a team, both physically, mentally, and you're outplaying them. Like they're desperate. They're resorting to any type of little tactic that they can find in order to make it a difference in the series. But I think that we broke their spirit in that game, dog, because they weren't expecting to get their asses kicked like that. Because not only did we outscore them, but we also out hit the crap out of those guys. So they got 2 ass whoopings, and now they're looking for another one because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some payback for that Barkov hit.
Well, they were chippy since game one, and then
Yeah.
game two, it kind of intensified. It kind of, there was that scrum, that fighting game one, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, game two had some fighting and stuff too, but they're playing real dirty, man. Like Bennett had that one tripping call that he had. It was close to the goal, to the goalie. It's kind of one of those bang bang plays, but it wasn't dirty. You know what I mean? Like it was like a real, like, okay, you can see it. He was trying to get out of the way. All right, cool. Then they had a tripping play that
Mm-hmm.
was real dirty. They also had somebody cross check.
Blatant.
Yeah. They also had somebody cross check Evan Rodriguez early in the game before he scored any of his 2 goals, and like basically lawn chaired him. He just folded right in half. And then to cap it all off, the most vicious one, the one that's still trending on X right now, was the hit on Sasha Barkov, dog. I mean, that's a tough guy. Barkov's a big
Yeah.
dude. I think he's like 6'4", 225. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he's one of the best defensemen that we have, guy that can go out there, defend, score, do it all for us. That's our guy.
One of the best players in the NHL,
Period.
period. You know what I mean?
And for that guy, bro, to fall to the ice the way that he did and double over, bro, that was not clean hockey, bro. Like, I don't even know hockey. You know what I mean? I know I'm wearing the hat. I know we're talking about the Panthers and stuff. I don't know hockey, but I know that hit was not a clean hit, bro. The way that
right.
he extended his elbow and caught him,
It came off the ice, dog.
bro, his feet came off the ice completely, bro.
You feel
Like,
me? So
that's
like
targeting.
he jumped that,
Throw a
buddy. That's
flag.
targeting.
They should have thrown a flag, dog.
That's
Defenseless
targeting.
receiver.
You know what I mean? That's targeting, and that's that type of whack shit that let's be honest, let's call it what it is. Cowards, dog. I use another word with a little asterisk on Twitter, but it's you're a coward because if you really wanted that smoke with Barkov, you would go straight up. If any of those guys really wanted to throw down and get with the program and get to the business, they would have took the gloves off. But none of those guys did, right? None of those guys offered that. And I felt like, again, in the third period, game's over. They're already losing, right? They're already getting their asses kicked. These guys are resorting to that. And I think that they did that with the expectation of let's pull the Panthers into this type of dirty game, right? Because this is the only way that we can switch it up, change it up on them, right? Get them riled up. And the Panthers showed the class, right, that they have by not, resorting to the retaliation, by not throwing the gloves down and trying to start a fight, even though they had all the reasons in the world, right? You just knocked out our captain and you just knocked out our best player on some dirty shit. Of course, we're going to come at you, and they're going to have to worry about that as in game 3 and 4, especially on the road, right? Because the Panthers have really nothing to lose there, right? So I felt like, again, that's just some cowardice. And the fact that it runs through the players and it just shows off how weak that coach is, right? I know they have Paul Coffey there and the other guys there, and those are some tough former NHL players, but that's just some weak shit. straight up. And I didn't like it, bro. It really pissed me off. I was standing up in front of my TV yelling. My wife's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" But I'm just upset, man, because again, you do that shit to a man straight up. When you do it like that on the slick shit, it's whack. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that the Panthers were able to keep their resolve. I'm glad that they kept the focus on the bigger picture at hand, which is winning the Stanley Cup. Right. And now they're heading into Edmonton, which is a long flight, right? And a long way
Middle of
until
nowhere,
Thursday
Canada.
in the middle of nowhere, right? To go and take care of the business. And I think that if you're being honest with yourself as a Panthers fan or a Panthers supporter, you got to feel really good about walking away with one of those games up in Edmonton.
I mean, dog, based on what we've seen so far this playoffs, how could you not expect us to
Yeah,
take one, if not two? The only reason I don't think we take two, bro, is because we owe it to the fans to close it out at home here for our first ever
that would be
Stanley Cup.
sweet. I mean, you and I are going to go to that game for sure, right? If it happens.
So like I played three, I played game three like it's the first game,
Mm,
really go out there and try to steal that one. And then game three, it's like, all right, we can let that third and fourth unit really kind of do their thing, save our guys for that game five, bring it home and close it out at home. If we close it
yeah,
out in four, I ain't mad at it. Don't get me
right,
wrong, we're still gonna have a parade. We're still gonna go
right.
down Las Olas or whatever we're gonna do, banging pots and
Cuz,
pans.
could you imagine that? All the way down
But
to Hollywood. Come on, cuz.
but I can definitely see, Edmonton getting one,
Of course.
it's and then, us doing it that way. But it would be kind of poetic justice too if we swept them, right? Like our
Hell yeah.
first Stanley Cup appearance, we got swept, and then now for our first one, we sweep the opponent.
Go out there and sweep those guys, right? Especially when they're resorting to that bitch shit, right? Straight up. Straight up. When they're doing that type of stuff, they deserve to get there's no gentleman sweep, right? It's just a rip your heart out sweep. So I kind of like where you were getting at there with winning game 3, right? Treating it like a game 1, going in there super focused and just being up to the task, whatever it is at any point in the game, right? From all the players. And I think that they're going to be motivated, right? This Barkov situation, there's going to motivate this team. And we saw Kachuk, and Big Bob really speak well after the game and not address it in an upset manner and anything like that. And even Paul Maurice, he's been a godsend for this team because he's kept his cool. He put it on the NHL and to say, you guys got to act here. We're going to keep doing our thing and winning hockey games. So I think that the Panthers definitely have that Stanley Cup in focus, bro, and they're really serious about winning that championship and bringing it down to South Florida, bro. Crazy to think that the one of the best teams that we've ever seen here in South Florida belongs to the Panthers. In multiple years, right? They can be in that top 10 for sure because even last year's team was amazing.
And those are in the same, talks as the 72 Dolphins and the Marino era Dolphins and
The
the,
LeBron
the
years,
LeBron
the
years with
the
Wade,
Shaq and
the Shaq
Wade.
and Wade years, like the Marlins 97, 03 teams, like, you know what I mean? Like, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, this team is so stacked, dog. So
Yeah.
stacked. Like, the work, not only that the coaching staff has put in with Paul Maurice when he came in, dude. I mean, people don't realize that this team had a scandal a couple years ago with our head
Yes,
coach, and
sir.
that's the reason we had Paul Maurice come in. You're like, that was a blessing in disguise. Now that we look at it in hindsight, you know what I mean. And then
Right.
all the work that not only he's put in with the team, but that Bill Zito has done, dog, from the
Bro.
GM standpoint to put the right guys in Maurice's path and say, go ahead, bro. Have your way on the ice. Do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm going to make sure you got all the pieces necessary, bro. And we're seeing
Yeah.
it come to fruition right before our eyes.
For sure. And you mentioned Bill Zito, bro. He's getting his due reward, right? That he just got third place when it came to GM of the year. I think they gave it to Dallas because Dallas had an incredible season this year. We saw them really maintain that top position in the West, which was a hard conference to play in. But Zito, man, ever since he came in through the doors, he's changed everything about Florida Panthers hockey, right? And even now, we still see his vision for the future still taking place, right? We have some veterans, we have some guys that are in their prime, and we also have some young players that are really learning what it takes to be an NHL player and be a professional and at a winning level, right? And now we got the practice facility. I just feel like everything about this franchise is leading up to be like the huge grand reveal of the foundation and all the stuff around it, to be like, all right, now Florida Panthers are anonymous with, or yeah, they're pretty much in every single word when it comes to championship in hockey, winning in hockey, and being a great team in hockey. So we still got work to do. Two more
Two more
games,
games.
right?
Two more games.
We got the next game on Thursday, right?
Yep.
Which is a lot of time in between, but it is what it is. We also have that break from the NBA
I
finals,
mean,
which
dog,
sucks.
they have to travel like 3 days just to get to
Yeah,
Edmonton.
for real, it's so weird, bro. Thank God that
That
next
place
game
is
is Saturday, bro.
middle
And
of
if they
nowhere.
for real, and if they don't win those two games either on Thursday and Saturday, and they bring it to a game 5, it'll be Tuesday, June 18th. And Joel and I have to figure out what the schedule is going to be, but we'll let you guys know on social media what's that looking like. Go Panthers, bro. Those guys are balling right now, kid.
Yeah, man.
Balling.
Yeah, don't miss out. There's plenty of time still to jump on the bandwagon. Plenty of room too.
Plenty.
So I mean, bro, the arena was electric. I
Bro,
had homies that were out there, bro, and they were sending us videos, bro, and it was like nothing I have ever seen.
it's great, bro. It's
Not
really,
at least
really,
not
really
there.
great,
You know what I
bro.
mean? Like it was awesome to see like the game start and then the arena was already packed. Not like
Even
people like still filing in and finding their seats.
Mhm.
Like no, they're ready, they're locked in. People are hyped. The little kid has his shirt off behind the opponent's bench.
I
Like,
love that kid, dog.
oh my god, dude, that kid's a legend.
For real, for real. And again, like this is with shitty weather, right? That we've been dealing with recently. Like the fans are showing up because again, they recognize the history of what's happened here and what's going on with the Panthers. It's amazing, dog. It's amazing. Let's get
I'm
that
here for
Stanley
it, baby.
Cup, baby.
I'm
Let's
here
get that
for it.
Stanley
Vamos,
Cup.
gatos.
Vamos Gatos, get those patches and shit with the Stanley Cup. How gangster is that, man?
Hell
Joel, let's
yes.
talk about a second passion of yours and mine. In golf, we got the U.S. Open teeing off this Thursday. A lot of favorites, a lot of people who've been playing good golf recently. I wanted
One
to
guy.
kind of get
Just
your
one
thick.
guy. It's
No,
just
man,
one
Xander
guy.
Xander played well, right? He won a major championship, a
He
major.
won he won by one.
He did playing, but you got to win to win it, right?
Sure.
Okay, so him playing well got him the championship, and now he has a major on his belt heading into the U.S. Open, which is a big tournament, obviously for all the golfers. Who are you looking at this weekend besides Scotty? Right? Who are you looking at this weekend to be like, this is a dude who can really make a run because he's been steady.
I mean, it's Scotty, dog. I know you don't want me to say Scotty, but it's Scotty. Scotty, Scotty,
Could have
Scotty, Scotty,
sworn I
Scotty, Scotty,
said
Scotty,
not
Scotty,
Scotty.
Scotty. Bro, this guy would have 2 majors under his belt already if it wasn't for an egotistical police officer that was taking his job way
With the
too
fake
serious.
injury. With the fake
You know what
injury,
I'm
you saw
saying?
that knee scrape. You saw that knee scrape.
Last week, okay, this past week at Jack's place, the Memorial,
Mm-hmm.
Scotty
Mm-hmm.
Scheffler won. Scotty Scheffler didn't play his best golf and
No.
still went on to win. Why? Because that's a tough ass golf course. And even
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler's worst game is better than most people on the PGA Tour's best game right now, bro. Like this guy is playing on a whole nother level. He is the
Mm-hmm.
outright favorite going into this weekend. He is my outright favorite going into this weekend. So if you don't have him on your FanDuel, you're slipping right now. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You're already behind. But besides him, I don't want to give away my picks. You know, we got friends that listen to this, and so I don't want to divulge too
Oh,
much
come on,
information.
come on.
But there's a couple guys that are out there that are prime. Shoffley, like you mentioned, is an interesting one because did he figure it out?
Hey.
Is he ready now? Now that he's been able to sit there and contend,
Yeah.
now does he have it in him to go out there and do it again in another major? Another guy that comes to mind like that is Colin Morikawa. We've seen Scotty Scheffler be number one these last couple, tournaments, but who's been number two, bro? Or in that Sunday final group, Colin Morikawa. Now, granted,
time.
he can't close out, but who knows? Maybe he does something this time around. We know he has 2 majors already, so maybe he can figure something out here to really, elevate himself now to win another major. Besides that, bro, I mean, you got your usuals, your usual guys. I'm really looking forward to Thegala, Sahith Thegala. I feel like he plays really well, and this is an interesting course because it's long. He's a long hitter. But he has a really good short game, bro. And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos yet, but this is gonna be a short game based major.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think you're right about Scotty, right? Like he's obviously the best golfer, but I think what makes him the best golfer right now, Joel, is his mental state, right? Like his mental game is so strong that it's way above anybody else's, right? Like nobody else on tour can deal with whatever Scotty is dealing with and still go out there and play well, right? But now if any of those other guys, Xander, Colin, Rory, if any of those guys go out there with a clear mind, no issues, play great on Thursday, play great on Friday, play great on Saturday, they can win a tournament, right? They can go in there and have a good day on Sunday because we've seen Scotty show that he's human, right? He's missed putts here and there for bird. He ends up with a par, whatever. And those are small little mistakes that you have to take advantage as one of those guys, not named Scotty, right? You have to take advantage of him giving you the slightest inches of the door opening in order to put your foot in there or toe in there and make a mark.
But
And
you
that's kind of
can't.
what I'm looking for with this weekend, right? I'm wondering, right, if Scotty's gonna open that door or if it's just gonna be like dominant Scotty off rip, where he's by Thursday, he's top of the leaderboard, and the next guy closest to him is 4 strokes behind.
The way the guy plays, bro, he doesn't give you a chance. He doesn't like crack open the door, bro. There is no
Hardly
door for
ever.
Scotty. Like Scotty's so far on a whole
He's
nother
human.
plane that he doesn't even like see doors, and like that concept of a door open or closed, like that doesn't even exist him because he's by
He
himself.
beams. He
He's
beams
totally
in
by
and out of the
himself, bro, on a
course.
whole nother spectrum. And I think these guys can't, try to hope and pray on Scotty's downfall. I think a lot of these guys, if you were to talk to them, they're not focused on other people's game. They're focused on their own game and what they can and can't control themselves. And I think that's the perfect example of this, bro. Like this is a tough, tough tournament. Number one, it's the USGA's US Open. So they
They're
make
gonna
it a
make it as
point to
hard as
make this
part.
as difficult as possible. Number
Wait,
two,
I know you saw those videos about the guys dropping the ball on the
that's
green
what
and
I'm
just seeing
getting at.
that puppy go.
That's my next point right there, man. Number two, the venue itself is a historically difficult golf course in Pinehurst number 2. Okay, there's been a lot of historical moments there, but it's always treacherous, bro. It's a very like the winner ends up being, just a couple under par, if that, maybe even just par. Like if you go back historically, people don't do well there. And why? Two reasons. Number one, super long golf course, very, very long. Number two, turtle back greens. You know what turtle back greens are? So
That means that the hole is at the top and everything else goes
not
downhill.
necessarily the whole, but the complex of almost every green structure at Pinehurst number 2, it resembles a turtle's back. So it all there's none that are like just like flat, and then
Flat
maybe there's some a little bit of slope on the front or on the back. You know, like how
all
normal golf
around.
courses are. No,
Right.
all around it, it's like that. So you have to, even if you hit a good shot, you might get penalized with a bad break, like a bad bounce or a bad roll. So you have to have a really good short game and understand how those greens work to make sure you're getting up and down. Even par here is
Is
not
a
a bad
win. No, it's a win.
absolutely.
It's a
Absolutely.
win. You know what I mean? And we haven't even talked about the weather conditions. It should be good weather out there, hopefully, right? But that makes it harder too because if you're talking, even if it's a little bit windy, we're talking about 10 miles, 13, 15 miles per hour. That ball spin is going to be drastically changed. And if you're talking about a green that you have to really, get the good amount of backspin to make it stop rolling or get behind the hole and then come back down, like you're really going to have to work that part of your short game. Which is one, you know what, my guy, bro, the chef, what's his name again?
Minwoo
Maywu Lee, bro.
your
That's my
fellow
dog. My
Lulu
fellow,
brethren.
yeah, that's my dog right there. You know what I mean? He has good short game, and we saw
Yeah.
him play some good shorts, some good shots around the last couple of tournaments he's been in. Yeah, man, short game is bro. I hadn't thought about it, but it's definitely gonna be key, dog.
But don't get it twisted though, bro. You gotta
Still
be
got to get it out there.
no Diddy. You gotta be long off the tee. You got to be long off the tee, bro. This is not a short hitters golf course. So anybody that, just kind of gets it out there, like a Matthew Fitzpatrick, I don't see a Matthew Fitzpatrick winning this kind of tournament. He
He's
can
gonna
hit it
struggle.
long. Don't get me wrong. But like, I think this is more suited towards like the bigger, longer hitters.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it, bro. I
Oh,
would go
hell
with
yeah.
my FanDuel picks, but like you
Oh,
said,
no. Keep it to
too many
yourself.
guys. Too many
Well,
guys are gonna
we'll
be in here.
just make sure you're following the Sports with SoSo on Instagram, and we'll
And
post them to the
Miami Golf
story.
Bros, right? Because obviously we're gonna tag them. Thanks.
But we'll post our two in particular, our lineups in
Yes,
particular, and we'll see how you and I fare head to head over the weekend.
that'll be interesting, dog. That'll be interesting.
We'll update the people next week on next week's episode.
Absolutely, absolutely. Real quick, bro. You know me. I'm on Twitter a lot or X a lot, and I saw this come by my timeline where it was like, man, Trey Young makes a lot of sense for the Heat because they would be able to give up certain draft picks, a couple players here and there, without really having to touch the core of Jimmy Bam and other player to be named, right? I'm interested to what your thoughts would be if you think that the Heat have a realistic chance of opening up, that possibility where they can add to the lineup without really trading Jimmy.
If we could, bro, I mean, I think Bam and Jimmy are the core pieces. I'll get into Jimmy in just a second, but let's keeping things all the same. Adding Trey Young to that, I think that's a positive, bro. That's a net positive for us, bro, because he'll be able to run the court, for us. He has a three ball. He can score at will, like either at the rim or has from perimeter. So I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely I would prefer him over say like Russell Westbrook or some other people
Facts.
that we have been tied to through rumors or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think that we definitely got to avoid Russell Westbrook, even though he's plus 300 to come down here if he leaves the Clippers. I don't know why, but that's because I think that everybody feels that the Miami Heat really need a point guard, right? And a true point guard, a guy who can, like I said before, get 10 assists, 9 assists a night on the regular. Trey Young could be that guy, right? Where he maybe takes a hit in his scoring averages, right? He's not as close to 30 points per game, ends up being more of a 22 to 24 point per game guy. But if that means that his assists go up from 6, 7 a game to 8, 9, 10 a game, I think that's a huge plus. And I think that that's realistically what we need and what we should be aiming for right in this offseason. We need to bring in somebody who's gonna get assists because Bam needs somebody to feed him. Hero needs somebody. Duncan needs. Jaime Hawkins needs. We have all these guys who are great with the ball, right? Once they're in movement or they put the ball on the floor, but we don't have anybody who can really set those guys up, right? And that's always been lacking in this Heat offense over the past couple of years.
Yeah,
What was your point on
true
Jimmy,
point
dog?
guard. So I don't
Yeah,
know if you saw this, but he was talking about that WNBA player, that purple and
yeah, I
gold
forget her
team.
name.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Sparks, maybe the LA Sparks or whatever.
LA
But
Sparks.
she was wearing the number 22, and he made a comment that he said he liked the way the number 22 sat on that purple and gold.
Yeah, it was
Should
weird, bro.
we
And
should we look into that any further, or should we just kind of take that with a grain of salt?
I mean, I don't know, right? Obviously, he was hurt, right? He's hurt about the comments that Pat made about him and being quiet because we're not playing. You know what I mean? Talking about you would have beat other teams when you didn't, or you weren't unavailable for whatever reason. But I think that Jimmy's just doing that shit to be Jimmy, right? And being in the news and being in the media and being talked about and stuff like that. Because even in the Bad Boys commercial, I know you've seen him in the finals and shit like that during the finals, like that. In my mind, I'm like, bro, why are you even there, right? If you, I get it, you're building your brand outside of basketball, but if you're really about the Heat and you know how we feel and how we want to approach this, right? Because every year we have the same goal, try to win a championship whenever we have really good players. Why are you out there making commercials and doing all this stuff and doing all this extra stuff? Like I don't see other guys, I don't see, you know, name the superstar, except for whack ass Tatum because he sucks. He's not really a superstar, but like that's the shit that kills me. And I think that when he makes comments like that, it reflects poorly on him, right? Because everybody knows that the Heat aren't really going to move him until he makes a mess of it. And I don't think he wants to make a mess of it either. So it was weird. I don't know what type of head games or head state this dude is in, but me personally, I would like for him to lock in, right?
I
Lock
mean,
in, off season
y'all
started,
would.
like, let's go. Let's go. You know what I
That
mean? Like,
just
get
just
to work.
worries me, because of the fact that I know that the Lakers are about to be, in the post LeBron era, most likely.
They don't even have a
Um,
coach.
they don't have a coach, but they do have something that the Miami Heat don't have, and that's a giant bankroll. And Jimmy
Yeah, they
Butler's
have some
already
money.
expressed that he's looking for the max this offseason. So he's going to be looking for shooters. And why not a historic franchise like the Los Angeles Lakers for him? So I don't know, man. It'd just be sad if this was the last that we, us Heat fans saw of Jimmy Butler. Like if it kind of just ended like this abruptly.
Coming off an injury, that would suck.
Yeah.
But that's why I think that he's gonna give it. He should, and I think that we should give it one more run. But I definitely feel like we're at that point where it's championship or bust, and that's it.
It always is, baby. It always
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I think that's good enough, man. We're gonna wrap up the show. We got BKFC stuff. We got a good boxing weekend. We got MMA coming up too. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you know what? I gotta work on it. And we also got some fire coming for you guys on OnlyFans. Couple of new things that I'm working on. We're working on getting a couple more guests and a couple more people on the show, but I'm sure that you guys are gonna enjoy it. But guess what? You're only gonna know about it if you hit the notification button here. And that is why you gotta tell a friend
To tell a friend,
to tell another friend
to tell everybody that they know.
and tell one more person, because this is where they're gonna get that information. This is where they're gonna get the best interviews, the best takes, the best home court, home field, home team news. Fuck all that ESPN shit. Stay local. Support your local podcast like this Sports with SoSo podcast. Till next time, y'all. Peace.